Yes. Well, greetings to our listener, and welcome back to another chilling, intellectually filling, thrilling, shilling episode of Notes from an Artist. I'm Tom Semioli on one mic, and who are you on that other mic?
I'm David C. Gross, and I'm on the other microphone.
All right, my co-host David C. Gross. You know, David, in the past 3 years, we have been blessed to converse and become friends with our musical heroes, namely Ron Carter, greatest living jazz bassist, I think. Gary Carr, greatest living classical bassist, Steve Hackett of Genesis, and Bill Wyman of the Rolling Stones. You remember those guys.
Yeah.
Richard Thompson. But I am so excited. On our show this evening is sports television journalist and producer Todd Ehrlich. Now, if you have watched sports in the last 30 years, 30 plus years on New York television or national television, you have seen and heard the work and artistry of Todd Ehrlich, because this is Notes from an Artist, and Todd is an artist. He has been recognized by his peers with multiple Emmy Awards and citation. Todd's only book, is entitled The 20 Greatest Moments in New York Sports History, Our Generation of Memories from 1960 to Today. He wrote it with Gary Myers. It is out now. It is on the bestseller lists. It is put out by Sports Publishing, which is an imprint of Skyhorse Publishing, and you can get that in hard copy or digitally, as Todd will remind you throughout the
Over and
interview.
over and over again. God bless him.
God bless him. You know, in an age, sadly, where journalism has given way to corporate jingoism and hyperbole and sensationalism and opinion-driven misinformation, Todd is an honest voice, and it's refreshing to hear and read that. Athletes trust him, and when you hear Todd on the show tonight, you'll see why they do. It's kind of like the trust we have with our musical colleagues. So Todd is very simpatico with what we do on Notes from an Artist. David, as we say, this is, and throughout the interview, this is more than a sports book. This is a book about the culture. It's about relationships. It is about the fragility of a career in sports. One moment can define an entire lifetime, an entire career. It's about family. Todd wrote this for his son. Todd said in the interview he didn't want to get involved in politics, but politics does come to the surface when we talk Ollie Frazier and Joe Namath. And if you're a Yankee fan, David, you're going to love this book.
Oh, I certainly do. As a matter of fact, 9 of the 20 stories in this book, or actually 21, because there's a bonus chapter, are all about Yankees and various games over various years. And I must say, one of the things that thrilled me about the book was the fact that at the very beginning of each chapter, he talks about who was the mayor, what the price of gas was, what was the top movie, what was the top artist. And it really brings you back. And the great thing about it is if you don't remember those dates, you can go on Google, go to Wikipedia, go somewhere, and you will find all the answers. Todd has given you a free thumbnail of what it was like at that particular time.
Absolutely. And getting back to the baseball, it's the stuff you don't get on the Yes Network or MLB.com. So Yankee fans, including my dear friend and musical colleague, Katina Bryant, you're going to learn about Jim Leyritz and what might have been the most important home run in Yankee history. Behind the scenes with Aaron Judge gives me a whole new outlook on Aaron and his career. I love how Todd reflects on Mike Piazza's 9/11 home run. You remember that September 21st, the Mets versus the Braves is the first game after 9/11, and probably the single most important home run in baseball. Well, on the thread of home runs, tell our listener why the 9/11 home run was so important.
Um, so the 9/11 home run was so important. So I was living in New York at the time,
Right.
and there is no way to describe what New Yorkers felt. at that time. New Yorkers are resilient. New Yorkers do not let anything get them down. New Yorkers don't let anything stop them from achieving their goals and living their life to the fullest. And this was devastating. We lost close to 3,000 of our loved ones. There's not one person I know that wasn't touched by it, that didn't know somebody that perished that day. And more than that, what people won't remember is the feeling that this isn't over, that I don't know if I can drive across the GW Bridge. I don't know at any moment that it won't be blown up. I don't know that I can drive through the Lincoln Tunnel. I don't know that a bomb won't go off and it won't flood. I don't know that I can go into Grand Central Station and take a subway. I don't know that somebody won't come in with a machine gun. And the city was paralyzed. Now, I gave blood that night. Everyone gave blood. We supported each other. But we didn't know that we had the permission to live our life. We didn't know that we had the permission to cheer. We didn't know that we had the permission to enjoy anything in this time of horror and tragedy. And the Mets almost didn't play the game. They, as Jim Duquette, who's assistant GM, details in the book, the team was divided, sharply divided on playing the game. They feared for their own lives, and it wasn't until first of all, Outlighters and John Franco got up and spoke to the team and said what it would. They were New Yorkers, and what it would mean to their city to have this team come back and play a game and give New Yorkers a chance to come out and start to feel sort of normal again. And then the police came and said that there will be no place safer in the country based on the security we will have, that they voted to play the game. Then Lighters was down at ground zero and traded one of his Met hats for the NYPD hat. And what happened was he then got hats from the NYPD and the FDNY, and the team wore them. The commissioner told them that they are not allowed to do it. It breaks the uniform code, and they would be fined. And Al said, "You come down and take the hat off our head, okay? Because we're wearing it." And he said the emotion of the first responders that ringed the field when they came out wearing those hats is something he will never forget. Liza Minnelli performed that night and hugged Jay Payton as she came off the field, and his mother sent her the picture and she signed it for him. It's one of his most treasured items. And Todd Zeal told me that when Mike Piazza went up and hit his home run, watched the tape, he said he didn't even flinch because it was meant to happen. He wasn't surprised. And Omar Minaya said that this moment, that home run, gave Jay Payton also gave New Yorkers a moment to feel normal, a moment to cheer, a moment with deference to the fallen, but a moment to know that we will climb out of this. And that's why, in my opinion, it was so important.
Yeah.